Hello and welcome to today's episode of Chronicles of a Nigerian Woman. My name is Fagbeja and today I'll be reading Evelyn's story. I'd like to share an incident that I cannot erase from my memory. A few years ago, a young lady came into our compound to see one of our neighbors, a single guy who was in his mid-20s. She also looked about the same age, even though she was petite in stature. He wasn't home, so she sat around waiting for him. I went out, and by the time I came back a few hours later, I could hear voices coming from his apartment, which was one of the rooms off the main building where I lived with my husband and 3 kids. My neighbor's room was just behind our bedroom window, close enough for us to make out voices quite clearly most times. I went in and out of the bedroom at different times that evening, but at one point, I went in to pick something, and that was when I heard a female voice pleading, "Please, don't do this." She repeated it over and over again. I could not make out any other voice, but my interest was piqued, so I stayed. After a few minutes, I heard her voice say, "Let me take them off myself." And then I didn't hear anything again, even though I stood there for another 10 minutes. Of course, my instinct told me something was wrong, but I was not sure of what to do. There were 3 apartments in the compound, and we mostly kept to ourselves, only exchanging greetings when we saw each other outside. I had never knocked on my neighbor's door before, but I told myself that if I heard any sound of someone in pain, cry, shout, or a scream, I would take it as my invitation to go in. When everything went quiet after the last conversation, I left it after waiting for 10 minutes and not hearing anything. Almost 30 minutes later, at almost 8 p.m., we were in the living room when we heard loud sobbing near the gate. We stepped out to see what was going on, and we found the visiting lady fumbling with the gate, trying to get out. We managed to calm her down enough to tell us what happened. She told us that she had been raped by our neighbor. Guilt tore through my heart at this time. I should have gone and knocked on that door. I repeated to her the things I heard her say and asked why she didn't scream or shout. She then said he had brought out a penknife and threatened to hurt her with it if she didn't give in. And he also spoke in very low tones, almost whispers. By this time, tears were streaming down my face ceaselessly. I felt so terrible. She kept saying that she would make him pay. And I told her that whatever happened, I would be willing to share my testimony about what I heard from my bedroom window. She thanked me and left, still sobbing. About 3 days later, I stopped seeing the rapist neighbor, and he was away for almost 2 weeks until his sudden reappearance one afternoon. He was emaciated and filthy. Apparently, he had been arrested and had spent the last 2 weeks in jail. He and the lady were colleagues and friends from work, and he had invited her to know his home. The matter had gotten to the organization when he was arrested, and they immediately cut him loose, as they did not want the company name tarnished. They were planning to let the lady go as well, but when she told them that she had a neighbor's testimony to support her case, they agreed to give her a hearing based on the court's ruling. She filed a case at the magistrate court, and she asked me to testify on her behalf, which I gladly obliged. That strongly helped her case. Our neighbor was eventually found guilty and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Seeing the Nigerian legal system work so effectively was a major eye-opener for me, but I found it hard to get over the guilt of not doing something on the day that girl was raped. If only I had gone to knock, I could have prevented the whole incident. I made a vow to myself that day, never again to push back against my instinct. But I found some comfort in knowing that he got punished for his despicable actions. If you or anyone you know is a victim of rape or any domestic crime, please see the description below for resources that can be helpful. Feel free to share your thoughts and comments about Evelyn's story. What would you have done in her case? Remember to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos.